For those of you who have not been here before, welcome to Chelsea's Chair Yoga. We are actually going to start off on sitting on our chair and doing a breathing exercise, also known as pranayama. So sitting nice and tall on our sit bones and trying to have a neutral back. So that also just means following the natural curves of your spine. So you do have one concave on the lumbar and then one that convexes. So what you want to do is you make sure that your shoulders are nice and leveled on top of your hips and your chin is level with the floor and you're looking ahead. So our pranayama exercise is called Viloma breathing. So this just helps to get us to fully breathe and using our full lung capacity. So a lot of the times we tend to have a lot more shallow breathing if we're anxious or just rushing through everything. So this is just a nice time to bring your attention inwards to yourself and feeling the full expansion of our lung and also feeling all of that air come out on your exhalation. So let's try that. Viloma would be when you inhale, you're going to do one inhale through the lower belly, pause, and then inhale again through the mid section, pause, and then fully expand the lungs to a full inhalation, pause, and then we'll exhale 3. So exhaling, lowering from the top, pause, exhaling through the middle body, pause, and then exhaling through the lower belly, and then pause. So let's practice that one time, having our hands just relaxing on our lap in front of us. So inhaling through the low belly, pause, inhaling again, one big inhale, pause, and then slowly exhaling through the top lung, pause, exhale again, and blowing all of that air as best as you can, residual air too, and pause. So at your own pace, we're going to do this 8 times. So we'll inhale, pause, inhale, pause, inhale, full capacity, and exhale, pause, exhale, all the way, pause, and second, and then exhaling, pausing 2 times, until you get to the very bottom of that exhale, and pause. Then we'll inhale again, pausing twice, and then exhaling to pause twice. And we'll inhale, and exhale with your 2 pauses. Find a good way to make sure that your body is actually inhaling and exhaling at its full capacity is having your hands on your side rib cage and feeling your belly or the rib cage expand when you inhale, and then feeling it's lessen and go smaller when you exhale. And you should be able to feel also your heart opening at that full inhale at the top, allowing the body to relax at your exhale. So I am on my last Viloma exercise breathing here. pace. Once you get to number 8, I'll get you to follow me into our next exercise, which is cat-cow. And that's just to bring some awareness into our spine. So sitting at the edge of our chair here, legs are hip-width distance apart, and sole of the feet are nice and flat on the ground. You're going to have our hands resting on our thigh. When we inhale, we're going to look up and also curve the back. And then exhaling into our cat. You're tucking the tailbone into the seat and looking towards your belly button and rounding your spine. So following your breath again, we'll inhale to arch the spine and look upwards. And you should be able to feel your pubic bone is kind of facing down towards your chair or tilted forward. And when you exhale, you're going to tilt the tailbone down towards the chair and curving your back, looking down. So we'll do this exercise 5 times. Following your breath. Inhaling to arch the back. And exhaling to round that back. Inhaling to arch. And exhaling to round. And inhaling, arching that back. Also roll the shoulders back to open the chest more, and then exhaling to collapse and round everything in. So we'll do one more set here. And exhaling to round. Last one, come to a neutral spine again, sitting up nice and tall. And we'll come into your sun salutations with a side bend. So sun salutations is just an exercise where we're following our breath with our motions or our hand signals, pretty much saluting to the sun. We can also do moon salutations, but today we're going to start with sun salutations. So I'll show you our first exercise. So when we inhale, we're actually going to bring our hands up towards the ceiling. And exhale down, arms down. So that'll be your first inhale, exhale. Your second one is actually going to be just the right arm coming up and exhaling and pulling that right arm all the way across to the left side. Inhaling to come up and exhaling down. And then we'll do the same thing with the opposite arm. Inhaling with the left arm and exhaling to the side. Inhale and exhale. So this does bring a lot more energy into our seated position and just warming up that upper body so we can get into a little bit more yoga asanas. So we'll do this 5 times. So inhaling up and exhaling down. And right hand, inhaling up and exhaling over to the side. That breath through the right side body. And inhaling upwards and exhaling down. And then inhaling the opposite arm up. And exhaling, pull that to the side. Inhaling up and exhaling down. So number 3, inhaling both arms up. And exhaling both arms down. Inhaling the right. And exhale to the side. Inhaling up and down. Left arm, inhaling up. To the side. Inhale up and resting down. Number 4. So I think it's number 4. Inhaling up, exhaling down. I find as a teacher, I start to lose count. But I guess it's not so bad when you do an extra count of everything. Exhale down, inhale up, and exhale down. We're just getting a little bit more motion and movement in our body, which isn't a bad thing. Inhale those arms up and exhaling them down. last one. Inhale the right arm up and exhale to the side. Inhale up, come down, and then follow your breath. One more, last thought. Breathe into left lung there. Inhale and come down. So that was our sun salutations. So from here, we're going to come into our neck stretches. So a lot of times we may get something called tech neck, where we're looking down at our phones too often and we'll get this nice little double chin going on. So we'll try to reverse that today, counteract it. So our first neck stretch will actually be turning to the right. I should also mention the video camera here does not mirror me, so you are going to be going the opposite direction. And you're going to bring your hand over to the ear and just give it a gentle tug. Give it a little bit of weight. Exhale, go ahead and straighten that head. Now you're going to look towards your armpit instead. And your hand's going to come to the back of your head and you're going to pull towards your armpit. If you do find that you can get a stronger stretch out of this, you'll take the opposite arm and you can bend it behind your back and tucking the fingers onto the opposite side of your hip so it looks like a little wing, and then exhale and pull that neck towards your armpit. And you should feel a stronger stretch through that left side. Up, look towards center, and we'll try the opposite side here. So I'm going to turn, bring my earlobe tilted towards the left shoulder, bring the left arm up, holding it on the ear, and slowly bring it to the other side. You can also use your chair as a little bit of an anchor, so your right hand right underneath that chair seat, and you can find yourself pulling a little bit more to the left to feel a stretch if you need to. And remember, always breathing. Yoga starts with your breath. Slowly letting go of your ear, coming straight. And now you're going to look towards the armpit there, bringing your hand onto the back of your head. And I'm just going to have my other arm behind me again. Wave the fingers on the other side if you can, or just have it right behind your spine there. And then slowly pulling and letting gravity bring your chin down towards that left armpit. slowly bring it up straight and then turning to center. And then we will do something called neck brushing. So this helps stimulate our lymphatic system in the neck and may also release angry thoughts. So what you're going to do is look up towards the ceiling, and you take both hands and brush your fingers up the neck and past your chin. And you would just slowly raise the fingers up the neck towards the chin. Also is a very natural way to give yourself a neck or a facelift this way. But I find, tend to pull all of our tension in our neck and our hips. And those are usually the two biggest joints that we try to get the tension out of in yoga. We're stuck hunched over. Don't release any of that tension, so we start to collapse inwards. So you want to make sure your lymphatic system's working, circulation's all going out there, and no unhappy thoughts. Alright, so our last neck brush goes say goodbye to those evil, not so good thoughts, coming back to central. And then we will go into our eagle arms. So that'll help stretch out the shoulder as well as our arms. And to get into that, we will have our arms straight out, palms facing up. And we're still seated on our sit bones and feet are hip width distance apart. Go ahead and cross your right arm over the left as far as you can. And then you're going to cross the forearms. And if possible or available to you, you may now touch your palms together like you're clapping, or you may also just cross your arms so that you're holding the shoulders. Always listen to your body in yoga. Whichever pose is coming to you naturally, you go to that one. Never want to force the body into a pose that it doesn't want to be in. But gradually, with stretching and some TLC, your body will eventually get to that pose. You just have to be very patient with it. So at this pose here with it's your right arm on top of your left. To inhale and bring the elbows up higher if you can, but also relaxing the shoulders down and back behind you. So you don't want to look like you're trying to take your shirt off or like trying to lengthen the neck. You want to keep that space between the shoulders and your earlobes, but also raising the elbows. To bring a little bit of mobility to the stretch, you're actually going to bring your elbows to the right and tilting your neck to the left. Inhale straight, and then when you exhale, turn your elbows to the opposite side and tilting your earlobe to the right shoulder. Turn, inhale, and then tilt. You can also do that with the eagle arms. I feel like I'm playing peekaboo with the camera. So at your next exhale, go ahead and unfold those arms gently. Give them a little shake there, and we're going to do the opposite. Always balancing in yoga, and whenever we do one arm, we always have to do the other. So this time, having your left arm crossing over our right and bending at the elbows, hugging your shoulders, or bending at the forearms and having your hands together. So breathing into that pose, finding any tension in the shoulders or in your arms, exhale it out. And when you're ready, you're going to bring those elbows a little bit higher, but gently bring your shoulders down and away from your earlobes. Exercise there. We'll inhale first, and exhale to tilt the neck and our elbows to the opposite side. Inhale into neutral and tilting, turning your arms to the opposite side. Spot there that you find is really cushiony and you're feeling a great stretch, you want to stay, by all means you can stay there. Just always breathe into that pose so your muscle is not getting tensed up in that one position. And one more here. And your next exhale, go ahead and unwind those arms. Give them a little shake. And now we are coming into our tricep stretch. So that's where we're going to inhale one arm up to the sky, bend at the elbows so that arm is, or the hand is right behind the nape of your neck. You've got a nice straight arm, elbow pointing upwards. You're going to take the other hand and just pull, gently pull that elbow a little bit closer to behind your ponytail or just behind your head, and breathe. Long, steady breaths here. So same importance here with your posture. Don't try to tuck your chin all the way down to your chest. You want to try and keep it away from the chest. And also trying to keep your elbows down and back behind you. And the shoulders are rolled behind you as well. And at your next exhale, go ahead and let go. We'll unfold that arm and then we'll do the opposite here. So I'll inhale my left arm and making sure my elbow is as straight to the top as I can. Using the other hand, pulling that elbow a little bit further behind you and breathing into that pose. Yoga sequence, I made it so that it was kind of like a full body. We're just going to move from our head down to our feet. But if you find there's one, I guess, exercise that's calling you today and your body really wants to stay there, you can definitely take another extra couple breaths in there. Muscles melt into that position. And your next exhale, go ahead and let go. Unfold the arms. We're going to do a wrist flip here, just to get the flexibility in our wrists. So to come into that, we'll have our arms crossing in front of us. And then you're going to flip your palms so that they're facing one another. Clasp the fingers. From here, we're going to inhale the hands towards our belly button, turning up towards our chest, past our chin, and back out, and straightening the arms. Inhale Inhale back up towards the chest. Bring them all the way down and back out. One more time, all the way back out. Inhaling in and swishing all the way back out. And one more time. Inhale towards you and exhale to extend. Once we're here, we're actually going to flip and have our opposite hand to clasp over. And then we'll do it one more time. You may find that one side is a little bit more flexible than the other. But that is why we balance out in yoga and we do both hands. Forward. So go ahead and let those hands unclasp themselves, and we'll do one more clasp here, but it's going to be behind the back. So I'll turn around so you can see. We're going to have our hands behind our backs here. Clasp the fingers, and when we inhale, we just straighten the arms behind us and pull them down towards our sit bone. And opening the chest, rounding the shoulders. How do I say this? Rotating the shoulders outwards and bringing our heart forward. Inhale. And we exhale to relax, but when we inhale, again, trying to open that chest and look and a little bit above. And same thing, but we are going to clasp the fingers the opposite way. So instead of if it's your right thumb on top, you're now going to put your left thumb on top instead. And we'll do it one more time. So we inhale to straighten the arms, rolling the shoulders outwards and looking up. Exhaling down. And we'll inhale again, looking up. And exhaling down. So we should feel a nice little stretch on the outside of that rotator cuff. As we do our clasp hands behind us, a couple modifications you can do is also a reverse prayer. Or you can have it this way. You know, some people will do their cow face arms. So you have one arm down and one arm up. Whichever one is calling to you today. At your next exhale, go ahead and unclasp those arms, bring them forward to your lap. We're going to do a single leg stretch here to work on our core. So I'm going to go sideways again so you can see what's going on. So sitting on, I guess, the middle section of your chair. If you have space, I'd like you to hold on to the edges of your chair. And at your inhale, you're going to bring both legs up. So you can actually be leaning back into your chair if you need to. Or if you are able to sit straight up. I don't think I can do that either. I'm going to lean a little. So here, so your single leg stretch, you're actually going to be keeping one leg out and bring one leg in. And then do the opposite, one leg out, one leg in. Bring both legs out, bring one in. Easiest here is you want to keep your feet flexed so that there is this pull coming through from the tailbone down to the heels. So even when you bend one leg, you still got that foot flexed. want to make sure that the core is at work here. So bring your legs down. You just want to feel that core first before you start. Is sitting up nice and tall and tucking in the belly button. So you want to feel like your navel is getting drawn into your spine in the back. So that means if you were to touch your abs there, they do feel tense, or they should feel tense inside. And at that point, try to keep that feeling in the abs and then lift your feet up. And then you can start doing the one leg pull. Essentially, you should feel a burn in your lower abs as you do this because you've got it tense and you're also moving the legs too. But if you start feeling that pain in the low back, then that means your abs are not active. So this would actually be a foundational pose to boat pose or Navasana when we're on the floor and we lift both legs up off the floor at the same time. But this would be your modification with the chair. So once we get the flow going, if you can, when you have one leg bent and one leg straight, when you exhale, you're going to seamlessly do both legs at the same time. And exhale, inhale the rest, and then exhale. I feel more of this stretch in my arms as I'm trying to hold myself up. One more here. And slowly bring our legs down. From here, we're going to come into a goddess side stretch. So this is a nice hip opener here. So sitting at the edge of our chair, nice and tall, neutral spine. We're going to actually open the leg here so that our knees are going to be, 45 degrees outwards. And always make sure that your knees are pointing directly over the middle toes. So this would be our goddess stance. In yoga, you just wouldn't have the chair behind you. Actually, no, you can have a chair in anything of yoga. This is just a modification, just to clarify. I know a lot of people don't want props in yoga, but actually they're very useful. So in goddess pose, I'm going to do a stretch here. So from here, opening that hip, we're going to inhale the right arm upwards and tilt to the side again. Inhale and down. And the second one, when we go up, we're actually going to twist instead. So instead of, so we'll inhale the arm up, and instead of twisting to the side, pull that arm upwards towards the ceiling and twist your palm to face me. And looking upwards, and you should feel a full opening over your chest as you twist open towards the ceiling instead. You can still tilt to the left, but you're essentially not trying to collapse your rib cage here. You're just tilting a little so you can open that spine and open the chest. So inhale up and come down. Try that on the opposite side. Inhaling the left arm, and this is when you can actually close off on that right rib cage and bend to the right. And inhaling up, come down. This time with the twist, you'll inhale upwards and looking up towards the hand, turn your palm outwards towards me and looking upwards. that chest. Nice open heart. And exhale forward, come down. We're going to do the same thing, but on the opposite side again. Since our first time, it was just a little practice. This one will be real. Inhale, come down. And following your breath, inhaling up and then twisting. Look up. And exhale down. And we'll do the left arm. Inhaling up. Exhaling. And come up. Exhale that arm down. One more time. Inhaling that left arm. And then looking up towards the ceiling. Do a couple crunches here as well for our obliques in goddess pose. So always making sure that our knees are over the middle toes. Try not to collapse your knees in. You always want to keep them nice and wide. If you do need to have your hands here to keep that stance open, that's totally fine. But from here, if you can, just keep an eye on your knees so that they're always in that open space. You're going to have our hands in cactus. And when we exhale, we're going to do a crunch to one side. Inhale up and exhale, crunching to the opposite side. So I'd actually like to feel where that crunch is coming from on the side though. So we inhale up, have my hands on my hips and exhaling to the one side, and you should be able to feel it crunching where your muscle is getting squished onto one or the other side, and you're still stretching the rib cage on the opposite. Just following your breath here. So we inhale to come straight, and we exhale to try and bring, well, if your arms are up here, you're trying to bring that elbow down to your knee. That's essentially why you have your arms up here. So I find some people, they'll do like a half turn, but you want to feel that crunch, you're going to have to go a little bit further, and you'll feel it a little bit more once you find that your elbow has to come all the way down to that knee. Keep on breathing. Exhale down. Inhale and exhale down. Do one more for good measure. Inhale up and slowly bring your hands down. And use our hands to close up the legs here. And from here, using the chair, I'm going to differentiate between warrior 1 and warrior 2. So when we are actually doing on the yoga mat without a chair, we can feel what we should be with our hips. So both warrior poses are a hip opener exercise. We're going to go into warrior 1 first. So from your chair, you're actually going to have your right knee facing the edge of your chair, and pretty much your right thigh is sitting up on to the chair, and this left leg is just hanging out in the air. So the chair is just here for your support. You can sit on it and making sure your toes are facing straight ahead. Knee is aligned over the middle toes. Your left leg, you're just going to swing it all the way back and try to bring your heel down to the floor. So when you're looking at how your feet are on the floor, one right leg in front of you is going to be straight ahead, and your left foot is actually out a little bit. So your feet are on parallel railway tracks, not one in front of the other. So this, when you have your hands on top of your hips, facing forward, both hands should be level, And you should feel like if your hips were part of a headlight on your car, you don't have any wonky headlights. They're always going to be straight and level in front of you. So your hips are facing the front knee and your back leg nice and strong, heels on the floor, and the toes are 45 degrees outwards. So this is warrior one, where the hips are in line with the front leg. So coming into warrior one, to solidify that pose, you would actually inhale your arms up, warrior one. And bring your arms down. So coming out of warrior one, you can actually just lift that left leg from behind you and just bring it in. And from here, I will show you warrior two. So warrior two, you're actually going to rest your right butt cheek onto the left corner of your chair. And from here, you're actually just going to have your right knee pointed out to the side and bring your left leg all the way back behind you again, like you would in warrior one. Place the heel down on the floor, but this time you should be able to see the inner arch of your back foot is going to be in line with your front heel. So again, inner arch of your back foot, nice straight line to the heel of your front foot. So in this case, I'm actually not facing the side of my wall. I'm facing a little bit more diagonal here. So if you think of yourself on your yoga mat, this front knee is still facing the short edge of your yoga mat, but your hips are opening out towards the wide edge or the long edge of your mat. And you've got your heel on the floor in the back, nice strong straight leg, but the arch is in line with your front heel. So we don't have a choo-choo track railway going on now. We have a inline heel to arch, and our hips are actually outwards facing the long edge of your mat. If I had my mat, I would show you. It's a little bit difficult to say it. But to come into our full warrior two, we'll inhale our arms upwards towards the sky and exhale them down out towards a T shape. And this is warrior two. Both of these are very good strengtheners for your hips, as well as the thighs and your legs. You can actually feel an opening in that right bent knee right now. So remember that feeling when we take away the chair next time. You should be able to feel the same stretch and strength in your legs without that chair. Excellent. So go ahead and exhale the arms down. And we can bring that back leg back in, and we're going to do the same thing but on the opposite leg. So I'm going to come into warrior one again, but with the left. So coming onto the edge of your chair, you want to be sitting on your left butt cheek, and your left knee is facing the edge of your chair. Pushing your right leg out behind you. Bring the heel down. Toes are 45 degrees outwards. Remember, in warrior one, our hips are nice and level. Headlights are straight in front of us towards the short edge of the mat. Our legs are in a parallel railway track. They're not one behind the other. It's actually a micro back bend, if you see, because your back leg is nice and straight behind you, and then it curves to have your back nice and straight. So finishing warrior one, inhale your arms up towards the sky. And you have completed Virabhadrasana 1. Excellent. Good. Go ahead and exhale those arms down. And bring that back leg inwards. And then now we can get into warrior two. This is where we edge our left sit bone onto the little right corner of our chair. So left knee is going to be out in front of you, toes facing forward. Remember, the knee is always bent over the middle toes. Swing your back leg behind you. Bring the heel down. Again, toes are 45 degrees outwards. And now making sure the alignment is there. You've got your hips facing out towards the long edge of the mat or to the corner, out to the corner of your chair. And inner arch of the back foot is in line with your front heel. So you may need to heel toe that back leg so it's in proper alignment. Good. Remember, your hips are always level. You don't want to have one hip sticking outwards or tilty. If that is the case, you may have to just slide your foot out a little bit more to bring that hip down. At that point, we're going to inhale our arms upwards. And at a T shape here, we are now in Virabhadrasana 2. Good stuff. So again, making sure that knee is always tracking over the middle toes. You don't want it to split inwards or widen too far outwards. It does happen when we have very tight hips and the flexors aren't allowing you to open. So stay here for one more long steady breath. You guys are doing good. And go ahead and exhale, bring everything inward. Good stuff. And then we'll come into our down dog. So down dog modification with a chair. So facing our chair, we're going to walk a little bit closer here. So we have our palms on the seat of our chair. And to feel what down dog should feel like, you're actually going to walk your feet out behind you until you can feel that you're almost in a straight back. So when I mean straight back, I don't mean a horizontal like tabletop straight like this, but I mean from the hands up towards your hip bone here is a nice straight line. To get into that, you're actually walking as far as you can until you feel like you're pretty straight. And then straight legs here, they're hip width distance apart. You're now going to aim your chest towards your thigh. And that's what gives you that straightness in the upper back. Having your ears right in between those arms is what gives you that space between the earlobes and your shoulders. And this is a full body stretch, down dog. You should be able to feel a stretch in the legs, your calves, hamstrings, back of the shoulders, and your arms. So once we have that feeling, when we come down to our mat to get into down dog, this is also what you need to remember how your body is feeling right now and try to replicate that. also breathing here. I find you can also give yourself a little bit of leeway here by bending right and left knee back and forth. But eventually coming back into straight legs. And when you're ready, go ahead and lifting yourself up, walking yourself up to the chair. And we can come into our leg exercises here. So I'm going to turn this chair around. And from here, we're going to go ahead and stretch the quads. So taking our right leg, bending it at the knee, and trying to tuck that heel nice and close to our bottom. And you can use your chair as a stability. And if you're being very sturdy here and feel like you want that challenge, you can try bring yourself up onto the balls of your foot on the left. Since you've got your chair here for stability, lifting your heel up, 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 and down, 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 down. And that teaches you to keep your balance so you're not leaning too far over one side. You're rooting your weight into all four corners of your feet or all 5 toes when you lift yourself up onto the ball of your foot. And then coming down, just strengthens the ankles. And at your next exhale, go ahead and let that foot down. And we're going to do the same thing on the opposite. So bring your weight onto your right foot, lift that back left foot behind you, tuck that heel in towards the hip or the bottom sit bone there. And allow the body to slowly drop into that stretch. Into it. Any tension in there, you're just going to exhale out. If you want to strengthen that ankle as well, where you're not turning or tilting too much on that ankle on the right, you can go ahead and try to bring your weight forward, slowly lifting that heel up a little bit off the floor. Or if available to you, lifting it all the way up off the floor and coming down. Excellent. On your next exhale, go ahead and slowly release that left leg. Come into our hamstring stretches here. Down dog wasn't enough for us. My chair has 3 levels. Depending on what your chair looks like, if you're able to have it on this lower arch piece of your chair or foot stand, you may use that. If you only have the back of your chair, that is going to be a pretty high stretch here. Bring your leg up there, or you can go midway and bringing your foot onto just the seat of your chair. That feels pretty good for me. I'm going to be Goldilocks. This feels just right. Okay. So bringing our left heel onto our chair, whichever level of your chair you like. You're going to have both a straight left leg, straight right leg, and flexing the toes on the foot that's on your chair. We're going to inhale our arms up and exhale, slowly hinging at our hips and trying to bring our belly button closer to our thigh. And if you can reach and touch or hold on to the back of your chair, you may do so. But if not, you can actually just rest your hands on your knee, on your shin, or on your thigh. An important piece here is always making sure that your toes are flexed coming towards you and you are hinging at your hip. No rounding of the back so that your head is almost touching your knee. Always make sure you've got a nice straight line and you're just trying to aim to get your belly button close to your thigh. And that's how you keep that back nice and straight. And slowly breathing into that hamstring there. Mine is shaking right now, so I know it's working. And at your next exhale, I'll get you to stand up and switch legs. Again, nice straight supporting leg and straight leg on the chair. Flexing those toes in front of you. Inhale up to lengthen that spine and then exhale and hinge at your hip. Bring your belly button towards your thigh. If you can reach your toes, excellent. If you can reach your chair, even better. But if not, and you want to just rest on your knee, also excellent. Listening to your body is most important. So once you get used to this stretch, every exhale should allow you to delve deeper into that hamstring, and you should be able to come a little bit closer sometimes at your exhale. Exhale, you're going to slowly come up from that hamstring stretch. And coming into our chair. Kind of seated into your chair, we're going to do a little twist here before we finish off our yoga practice. So sitting up nice and tall again, nice neutral spine. Your feet are hip width distance apart. We're going to use the chair backing for our twist. So when we inhale, nice and straight, bring your right arm up towards the sky and exhale to turn your right arm across and holding on to the back of your chair. So your left arm here is waving hello. You're also going to use this backing chair, or you're going to use your left hand to hold onto the chair as well. And I usually just hold on to the side here of the chair. And right arm's going to come and meet that hand there. When you inhale, lengthen, and then you exhale from the core and turn towards the back of your chair. So I find if it's available to you, you can sit closer to the edge of your chair to bring your left arm to the other side and give yourself a stronger pull. But if that's too much, you can just use the one edge of your chair. But always inhaling to lengthen that spine and exhaling to turn towards the back of your chair. And lastly, inhaling to lengthen, and you exhale to turn over, looking over your left shoulder. all the way back towards center. We're going to do the opposite direction. So sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, left arm all the way up, and then exhaling, turning towards the back. Holding on to one edge of your chair or both if you'd like. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to turn towards the back of your chair. Always inhaling to lengthen and exhaling to twist. Twist just allows you to get those vertebrae all lubricated and spongy again, getting the mobility in our spine. Finishing off that twist, you're going to turn and look over your right shoulder. And we inhale, exhale to unwind ourselves forward. We're going to do a nice little fold down here. So very easy, ragdoll. Come all the way down, resting your hands on the floor. Letting gravity just bring your belly button nice and close to the thighs. Slowly rolling up. Head is the last thing to come upwards. Now that we're here, we're going to do Shavasana on the chair. So just coming into a nice, comfortable seated position, resting our hands onto our thighs, closing our eyes. For the next couple minutes here in Shavasana, we're just going to breathe. So no controlled breathing here like we did in the beginning of pranayama. We're just going to follow the regular inhale, exhale that we normally would with our breath. Simply being, closing our eyes, scanning the body for any tension and just letting it go. Relaxing the eyebrows, any muscle around the eyes, we're just going to loosen those. Unclench the jaw. Relax the neck muscles, the shoulders, just dropping them behind you. Relaxing your elbows, arms, and your fingertips. Nice and loose. Relaxing the leg. Just feeling where the corners of your feet are touching the floor. Feel that those are rooting you down into the ground. So your feet are nice and attached to the ground. Gravity is pulling us downwards. And our sit bones on the seat also rooting us down. Allowing the mind to relax. Any thoughts that come to us, we acknowledge them and then we let them go. Just know where you need to be right now. Just staying present with the breath. most important in your yoga practice is you want to get in some sort of shavasana. So it just allows your body and your mind to rejuvenate, absorb all the good things that you've done for the last hour. And finding stillness so that you're ready for the next adventure when you leave your mat or when you leave your chair. You're just giving your body that time and your mind just a time to be and to relax. So coming out of Shavasana, you're going to slowly wiggle your fingers, wiggle the toes. Take a nice inhale, deep breath, deep exhale. That would be kind of like a little yawn there. Go ahead and slowly blink the eyes open. And that brings us to the end of our second chair yoga sequence. Bring your hands up to